Superman. Is Siv home?
Yeah, brother, hey man.
Cool. Welcome, Siv. Lovely to meet you. Well, we've met maybe twice before,
Yeah,
but probably 5 seconds of. Well, okay. First, let's start on the important thing. You're drinking. What you drinking? The orange juice. Is that
I
the
am
that's the
drinking.
bodybuilder of you?
Yeah, this I'm drinking this fruit cocktail.
Fruit cocktail. It's not an orange juice with an egg squashed in it like Rocky Balboa.
No, 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 no. Only when I have a goal do I do that.
Oh, you actually do that,
Only when I have a goal.
but that's still a yes.
Yes, I do.
Well, lovely to chat to you. I'm drinking. What am I drinking? I'm drinking a Ben Riach whiskey. It's nearly done though.
What?
Yeah. What is your Well, just getting it. So part of the concept of the show is just starting off by exploring the vices. What bad things do you like?
I
It must be
have a
hard
very
for you
sweet.
because
I have a
because you
very sweet tooth. Very, very sweet tooth. People's misconceptions is that I'm actually healthy. I'm not. I know if I put in 100 kilojoules, I need to work 150 kilojoules off, and that's the only trick that I have. But I eat unhealthy. I consume so much sweets and junk food. I eat out every single meal, breakfast, lunch, and supper. I'm too lazy to really cook, but I can cook very well. I bake very well as well. But yeah, man, I eat out. I'm unhealthy as hell, but I work my ass off at the gym and boxing, pole dancing.
do you eat McDonald's ever?
Had McDonald's
Or
today. Supersized chips with a medium, quarter
love it.
pounder, supersized deluxe today.
Okay, so I found your that was easy. Cool. So we on that note, we have a mutual friend actually, and that is Bruce, your trainer, who I used to do training with, but I don't like this.
How long ago was that?
I spent a good couple of years with him, um, but you know, he demands a lot of commitment that I probably wasn't ready to give.
Yeah, that's why me and
He's a
him
good
gel.
dude.
'Cause, yeah, we're all about commitment and we're all about pushing. But I hate the gym. I just love
Mm.
goals. So I'm only really with him when I actually have a goal.
He is a monster, that guy. What is I mean, he knows how to really torture people. Everything he makes look so easy. And then I remember that he sort of loses interest sometimes while you're training, and then you have to do something shit for a long time. And then okay, I think that was
Yeah,
30.
sounds about right.
Has he ever got you into one of those celebrity boxing things?
Yes, yes, yes. But I don't just go into boxing matches. I win them. So I've had five of them,
What
and
through
I've won
him,
five.
through his sort of celebrity boxing, or
No,
do you
no,
actually box in
I
tournaments?
think four of them with him, three of them with him, and then three of them with him, and then two of them on my own.
Cool.
So yeah,
And you're a good boxer then.
I'm pretty amazing, and I'm pretty
And
modest about it.
it seems that way. Um, how many times have you watched the Rocky movies?
Oh, big fan of Rocky, man. I grew up
Hmm.
watching it as much as possible. Absolutely love that kind of stuff.
Isn't it time for a
Uh,
local Rocky movie? We deserve one.
well, there's one called Knuckle City that I'm in, which is very, very good, based in Dunsany, Eastern Cape. Went to the Toronto Film Festival with it, and it's been doing very well. It's on Showmax at the moment. Check it out. It's called
I will
Knuckle City.
definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Cool. And so taking on to boxing, I know you're like my biggest idol in the world. I've got pictures of him everywhere in this house. Is Muhammad Ali, and I was also got the same birth date as him.
Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah, I know. I mean, that also explains my physique, I guess, my amazing
Explain
boxing prowess.
explains a lot. No, I'm a big fan of Ali. Like usually in my TV room, if I was in my
Yeah,
TV room where the camera setup is a lot better, there's Muhammad Ali and Nelson Mandela. Some people like to
that's
say
I've
Will
got that as
Smith
well.
and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, I've got a photo of Nelson Mandela with Muhammad Ali.
Oh yeah, well I have mine. They side by side,
Ah,
and they're on my wall. And you missed my joke. It was a terrible joke. I said I have Muhammad Ali and Nelson Mandela. as some people would like to know, Will Smith and Morgan Freeman, Americans.
Okay, sorry, I missed that. What is your attraction to Muhammad Ali?
I think I've learned a lot from him. I think I definitely have um, like taken a lot of things from him. Like I'm unapologetic about telling you how great I am. I'm unapologetic about telling you when I'm going to defeat you and how I'm going to defeat you. And I am no I will dance when I defeat you, and I'll tell you that I told you I was going to defeat you. And I work hard, I play hard, and I'm not afraid to celebrate my success. And he was all about that. He was all about, I'll tell you how great I am. I'll tell you when I knock you out. I'll dance around you. And when I beat you, I'll tell you that I'm beating you while I'm beating you. But still has, Muhammad Ali still had this very humble side about him. And I think you can definitely find a balance. But the industry that I'm in and the kind of personality that I'm in, Muhammad Ali is the perfect example for the kind of personality that I have.
I like that. Also, the thing I see about you is, and obviously I don't know you at all, just watching you through the social vines, you're very, you seem to be very um, principled. Like you have a very principled idea of what's right and what's wrong. And, with Muhammad Ali, all that dancing and shit was all a show. But at
Yeah,
his core, he fucking knew who he was, he knew what he
yeah,
stood for, and he stood for it.
yeah.
And I do definitely see with
Yeah,
you some sort of.
for me, I grew up in a household where it was black and white. There was no gray in my household really, and I think sometimes it's some of my greatest traits, and sometimes it's some of my worst traits. For me, what I mean, if I believe in something, like for example, I don't believe in religion at all, categorically not. Right? So anyone else who believes in religion, cool, I respect you, but I don't believe in what you believe in, and that's your own business. But I respect you for it. You know what I mean? So I can disagree with people, but I can disagree with the utmost respect. And if they want to challenge me, then I'll be like, actually, no, I don't believe it because of this, and this. If you want to believe it, go ahead, kind of a thing. So it is a thing, but I mean, and very people are very different, and I'm all about celebrating people's differences.
I mean, I really love that about you because, I mean, as you've said, I mean, you've said what you mean, but it's very hard to have that in the current climate of sort of vocabulary and being extremely, trying very hard not to offend people because you can get cancelled in a heartbeat. I've seen you, you've also come under some attack, but I've liked how you've defended yourself or stood for what you're saying in that space. How yeah, well, what what's that face?
You know something? What people think of me has got absolutely nothing to do with me. Like, I have no qualms about what people think, how they think it. Think what you want to think. Really, it doesn't. It's like what over Doug's back. I've been myself for 35 years, going to 36 years now. There's nothing you can tell me about myself that's going to affect me in ways that need to be. The only people who actually affect my kind of my view on me are people that I really do care about, and those people who know me know my views and my way of living. But the rest, oh, I get attacked every day online. Oh, I'm always like, really? You're still trying? I know I'm an acquired taste. I'm like what you call, I'm like sushi or caviar or oysters. No one, oh, I don't mind sushi. I don't mind oysters. No, you either hate oysters or you hate sushi or you love it. There's no in between.
I like that, and not comparing myself to you as well. I'm that as well because. But
No, for sure.
did you surely when you were lighty that stuff affected you?
Oh,
Was
for
there a
sure.
point where you decided, fuck that, this is the line, and now I know what I'm doing.
I think it started when you get a bit older and the pimples go away and the confidence starts coming, and I think it got to the point when the self-confidence wasn't subconscious, when the self-belief was subconscious and it wasn't conscious. I think a lot of us, especially these days, a lot of people post all these motivational nonsense, but the self-belief is still here when actually it should be here.
Hey, you
Um,
post the self-motivational nonsense. What you talking about?
but I live it. I believe
Okay.
it. It's in my
Cool, cool.
subconscious every single day. So I'm all
Fair
about.
point.
I think a lot of people must post what they want as long as you believe it, man, and as long as you. Or if you're faking it until you make it, go ahead, man. But for me, I believe you should believe in yourself 220%. So when you doubt yourself, you still believe in yourself 110%. Listen, yeah, I always say to young people, I always say when you walk on water, people will laugh at you and laugh at you because you can't swim. And you're like, what? But I'm walking on water. And they're like, no, you can't swim. So no matter what you do, people always have things to say, man. Well, none of my business, really.
Dude, you seem like you got a lot of energy there. Are you exhausting to spend time with? Are you like this all the time?
No, the contrary. See, there's a little light on the left-hand corner of my screen that says live. That's the red light. When the red light is on, I'll switch on. I'm communicating. But when I'm in my room, I'm naked, sitting on the couch, scratching my balls. Really, I'm actually pretty chilled and relaxed.
Mm.
But when I have to speak to people, then I have a certain way of speaking. But I'm very very chilled. I much prefer being alone. Thank you very much.
Are you are you very are you say you prefer to be alone? So are you I don't want to use the word antisocial. Are you an introvert? That's the question.
But
Couldn't
funny
remember
enough,
the word.
I think people misunderstand what introvert means because I feel I'm an introvert. I'm an extroverted introvert. Like I believe that introverts are people who don't need other people's energy to feed off. But people absolutely tire me. Oh man, oof. I think I'm an extroverted introvert. When that red light is on, it's on. Uh,
It's
but
on. But you could
but
do
when I'm
without him.
around, mhm, people are time consuming.
Have you been a weird question? Have you been betrayed a lot? Have you been messed over
Um,
or
no, not necessarily. Um, mm-mm. I think I come from a very team sport background. Rugby, water polo, um, and in my older age, I've discovered individual sports, and I think I've just moved into my own with the individual sports because I've always gone team sport my entire life, no individual sports. And then I discovered boxing and pole dancing, and I was like, oh, alone, oh wow, oh, one-on-one coaching, oh wow, individual attention, oh wow. Then I was like, oh, other people, wow. Oh, we have to work together. Cool. I love working together, but I much prefer working alone.
because are you the hardest working guy in a group? Do you think?
I outwork myself.
Okay.
Uh, I think interesting. I think the biggest mistake our parents all taught us is that you have to work hard, but our parents forgot to teach us to work smart.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
learning that I'm learning that in my old age now. Is that you don't have to work the hardest, you have to work the smartest. But then when you need to work hard, motherfucker, you better work hard.
I'm only learning that now. My dad taught me, and like the world, anything is possible. He gave me the belief in all of that shit, but he never taught me like what you're saying, like how to actually do things smartly. Amount of
Mm,
time I've wasted doing 50 different things, and only now starting to figure out. Okay, now I need to think about how this thing is going to work. How I'm not. How do I do less? How do I do more with
It's
less?
it's like school. At school, they told you get good marks, but they didn't teach you how to study. Are
Yeah.
you kidding me? You don't teach how to study, but you want us to get good marks? Please.
Hmm. Um, something I read. I don't know. I mean, I know for me. I don't. You probably don't know much about me at all. But I was in a music. I was in a band for many years, and I've done a lot of weird things. But the one thing I remember clearly that had a massive impact on my career in music was when my father passed away, and didn't get to see all the fucking cool shit that I ended up managing to do. You lost your. How old were you when you lost your dad?
I was 18.
Tell me about that time.
Matric exams, and
Oy.
he died. He was in a car accident, passed
Oh,
away. But I think I had about 2 weeks with him in ICU, 2 to 3 weeks, and I think we got to say our goodbyes. We realized that if he survived, he would have been a vegetable. So it's a bit of closure, um,
that's traumatic.
but
Jeez.
but definitely one of the worst and best things to ever happen to me. You know, when you a piece of half of you dies, you know what I mean, and you promise him on his deathbed that you're going to be successful, you're going to be incredible, and you're going to show the world what you're made of. And those are the last words I said to my dad, and that's why the mission is to succeed. The mission is to do what I want to do and get where I need to be, and anyone who stands in my way is standing in the way of the promise I made to my father. So that's why I can't be stopped, and that's why I always get what I want. Cliche, but hey.
That's not a cliche. That's really that. That's really so. It's your mission started that day. Did you?
Yeah,
How did you?
I think
Yeah.
I think interesting enough, my dad left me. I think he left me 200,000 rand or something. Like I've never actually worded that before. He left me 200,000 rand, like 200,000 rand. In the greater scheme of things, it's fuck all money.
Not
But
when you're 18. That's a shit ton of money
yeah,
when you're 18.
yeah. But then what happened is, I was able. I think I was 19 or so. I was able to do this hustle and have money, and then I got used to having money, which is that kind of money, and then where people give up, I had a bit
Yeah.
of money, and then when I finished it, then the jobs were coming in. You know what I mean? So if I didn't have that little thingy, because I started acting when I was like 9 years old, but if I didn't have that little buffer, I don't think I would have been able to be able. It would have been more difficult to push through. Um, and one of the greatest and worst things happened to me in my life, and I think people don't realize that there's more to me, and I think I love that kind of like that underdog kind of. I think people know there's something about me, but I think they underestimate my intelligence at times, and I just smile and I nod. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna have to beat you, or even hire you. Even I'll hire you or beat you.
R- I mean, I tell you that a lot of guys grow up without their dads, but
Mhm.
having a dad and losing him, you never recover from that. I definitely understand that
Mm.
you.
I think what I've noticed is that I was at a funeral on Saturday, and it was quite sudden. I didn't see it coming, and it actually felt worse than my dad's death. It was my cousin's death. But my dad, I had like 3 weeks to really, go visit him at the hospital,
Right.
and so the closest thing is like I don't even miss my dad.
Mm.
Occasionally I can smell him, and occasionally I look at my hands and like, oh my god, that looks like my dad's hands. But I don't miss him really, and it's weird. Like it's been like 17 years. But you know, you, I know that it would be quite amazing to have him here.
What do you think he'd say to you if you could see all the? I mean, because your career is fucking crazy. The amount of stuff you're doing, the way you're able to succeed in so many disciplines, that's really rare. That is someone extremely motivated.
Yeah, you know, there's um there's a certain kind of I think I think the mission is to make my mom proud and my dad proud. Um, and I I think I haven't been able to get everything that is here into the world yet, and I know I never will be able to. Like for example, I shoot with this camera guy, and we're working together for about 5 years now. He's my personal camera guy. I can go to him. Okay, I wanna drive in shot. I want a medium wide. I want the quick cut. Blah, 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 and I can say that, and he sees my mind. He sees it. But I've never studied. But if you could ask me to write that down on paper, I couldn't possibly write that down on paper. Couldn't possibly. I just don't have those. I'm not that kind of. I don't have those kind of skills. What I do have is that I do have a content creation mind, and I think a lot of entertainers is the biggest fuck up of entertainers during lockdown period. So they try to put everything that was on stage or whatever that they were creating onto line directly. That's not how content works. You can't
Mm.
just take something and put it on. If it's an hour, just put it online and think it's going to kind of a thing. But another thing that I think entertainers do is that they don't realize that if you're doing a 2-minute video, there needs to be a beginning, a middle, and an end. If it's a 5-second video, there needs to be a beginning, and there needs to be a middle and an end. You can't just go. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of entertainers in South Africa, some of them have been able to adapt, and many of them have not been able to adapt on the online space. And shit
I
happens.
agree with that. I mean, I definitely felt the one thing that was missing, and I was hoping that a comedian would actually pick up the mantle. And that is, I definitely feel like this online space, there is room to do something fucking radical, really radical, not just take your live show and stream it, like you're saying, like
Yeah.
to actually do something that is built for this square box you're in right now.
Yeah. I think it reminds me of how men in society are just not forced to change. You know what I mean? Many white people aren't forced to change because people just let it be. I think a lot of our entertainers haven't been forced to change, and when the force came, they were not used to such pressures. When you're a comedian in New York, there are thousands of you. You
Mm.
better fucking adapt, or you'll not be seen on any platform. But in South Africa, a lot of people can become comedians or performers out of the blue. You know what I mean? They just jump on, and no one's really pushing them or forcing them. But I think if lockdown, and people give me shit about this, but if lockdown has not made your hustle go to the next level,
Mm.
you'll never be able to hustle. If you were forced to be indoors for 3 to 4 weeks, and in
Excuse
three
me.
to four weeks,
It's like 6 months, right?
6 months. But what I'm talking about is the extreme lockdown.
Right.
If you didn't realize that shit is real in level 5, you didn't realize it's real, and that you have to adapt. If you couldn't, then you'll never be able to adapt. I'm
Mm.
sorry to say it. No, I'm sorry to say it. Let's not putting around. If you have not been able to adapt now, you never will be able to adapt. And it's unfortunate. And here's
Yeah.
I'm gonna say another thing that's pretty harsh. Is lockdown has been very difficult for many people, for many businesses. But I'm gonna be devil's advocate and ask you, were you living hand to mouth before lockdown? Were you in trouble before lockdown? And did lockdown just expose the cracks that were already there? I don't think many people want to hear that statement, but hey,
Well,
who am I? What
I
do I know?
I'm I'm completely on that page, but I think that look, intimately involved with a lot of people in this industry who, good and bad, who've struggled, who've done stuff. But the interesting part is that the infrastructures that have controlled. Oh shit! I think I just lost you.
No, let me take exposure. I think that's 1 second. I'm
You're
gonna go
getting a
back
call.
quickly. I think it's no. I'm trying. It's blocked. I don't know. Sometimes it goes through. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Sorry. My bad. Oh, technology. There you are.
Technology. Okay, cool.
It's
I was
on
just
tilt.
saying
I don't
that
understand.
the infrastructures that have controlled industries for all these years, they have fallen away and actually created opportunities for innovators or people who can thrive in chaos or people who can think outside of the box, or into your term, hustle, can actually shake something from the tree and make it work, and that's been, to a creative, that's been really exciting, even though it's
Yeah.
hard. And to your point, if you can't fucking if ever there was an opportunity to innovate, this was it.
Yeah. So without sounding insensitive, I'm not saying that a domestic worker who couldn't go from her place to the person she works at's place.
Yes,
I'm not that. Those aren't the people I'm talking about.
you're talking about entertainers.
I'm talking about entertainers. I'm talking about entertainers.
Yeah,
I'm talking.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about. I'm talking about entertainers. And here's another thing: just because you're hustling, I'm not saying you necessarily have to have. You might be hustling your heart out and doing everything you can. I'm not saying it will always equal money, but at least you need to be trying, and eventually it will. I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh my God, Seth! Like, this is lockdown. It's time for us to rest. Like, this is just a holiday." I was like, no, it's not. The flipping Spanish flu lasts for how long, you idiot? This is gonna go on for long. Then they go, level 4, level 5. Oh my god, like I'm gonna just relax. There's a break. Level 4. I'm still taking a break. Shift, slow down. What the fuck, bro? Level 3. You know what I mean? Come on. And another thing, I'm not here to make friends. I got enough friends. I got way too
Yeah.
many friends. I don't need new friends. I'm 36, bro. If I keep the friends that
Mm,
I have now to the day I die, I'm fine. I'm not here to make friends. What I'm here to do is tell you
mm,
the truth. That's the
yeah.
truth.
Mm. Chomp. I eat your truth. Um, you put all this work into your physical stuff. Your the stuff you're doing with Bruce is phenomenal. Were you ever into like the early Arnold, that Iron Man shit? Is that something you're interested in? So it's not about like, I don't know if you've ever seen, Arnold Schwarzenegger in the old days. He used to like say, I'm going to work on this muscle because his body is art, right? You
Nah.
don't have that. You're about a goal. You want to fucking be a great boxer, or
I will work out for 3 months straight, 6 days a week with Bruce if I have to do a men's health cover or I have to do cosmopolitan cover. I'll do what I need to do to get my goal. I hate the gym. And Muhammad Ali said, I hate the gym, right? But I love results. I hate the
yes.
gym. He said, I hate every minute of training. But I said, don't quit now. Suffer now, live the rest of life as a champion. I am the greatest. I am the greatest. I'm beautiful, I'm fast, and I won't be stopped.
I was asking about your approach to acting. If you put as much work into character acting and or that you do into your like physical training, how do you approach if someone says to you, well, let's start with acting and then I'll move on to the next thing.
Yeah. So I did a TV show, overseas TV show called Blood Psalms, which is South African and international. I gained 10 kilograms of muscle for that.
But that's
Um,
physical. I'm talking about the other part, or is it? Yeah.
Mental. Listen, let me tell you something. I if me, the, my secret weapon is this thing between my ears.
Between your
That's
head.
why sometimes, yeah, between my head, not between my legs. Um, the interesting thing is that I think people talk of mental health continuously, and mental health is very important to me because I think my mind and my brain is one of the most. I'm nothing without that. We all are, but I mean, I really, really take care of it. And acting and anything to do with an art, I really, really put a lot of time and effort in towards, and I really work towards it as much as possible.
So in your characters, and that's what I'm saying. When you get given a new venture that is outside of your realm of things,
Yeah.
and something that isn't necessarily physical, because I understand when you see a physical challenge, what I'm getting is you'll conquer that motherfucker. But if you get something that is outside of that realm, how do you approach something that is not currently in your skill set? You,
Same way as I treat gym. I plan, I research, I get the right people because I think a lot of us we like to cut corners with saving money here and there. I make sure I have the right people in my corner, and usually the right people are usually the most expensive people. The perfect example is Bruce. Bruce is the best trainer in this country, in my humble opinion. And I put the money
I
into
agree.
him, and he helps me put my body together. You got to put your money where your mouth is. I the same as when I'm gymming, I get the right food. I get the best food. I get the best people to help me. Like now, I'm pole dancing. Got into pole dancing, and I have a lady who's been an ex-world champion. And I'm in there. I work with her daily, and if she says to me, "Do it 6 times," I'll do it 8 times. And if I have to read 5 scripts, I'll read 7 scripts. And that's the Ali that I've learned from, man. It's about working harder, working smarter, and looking beautiful while doing it, and telling people how beautiful you are. And occasionally you'll fail. Occasionally someone will knock you out. You'll break your jaw. You'll be knocked out, but you'll get right back up again. You'll train even harder. And that's the kind of world that I'm in. I think that I think at the end of the day, the entire flipping world is like a boxing ring. You jump in there and you have moments. You have to create these beautiful moments. And some rounds you lose some rounds, and some rounds you win some rounds, and some rounds you'll be cheated from some rounds, and some rounds you'll be knocked out, and you still can get up three more times, and that's what life's about, man. Life is a gigantic sport for me. That's how I treat life. It's a sport, and there's at the end of the day, Lance Armstrong said when he had cancer, he treated cancer like he treated cycling. Failing meant death. That's what
All
he
right.
said.
What's Rocky Balboa? Sorry to go back there, but his quote is, "It's not about how hard you can hit; it's about how hard you
Yeah,
can get hit and then get back up."
yeah,
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 you know it all.
yeah. But no, I really do. It's the same, it's the same as like I've started pole dancing at the moment, and not everything's about going fast or hitting the moves hard. Today we spent an hour just working on the transitions and making it slow and fluid. So the physical is just as important as the non-physical, um, and I'm willing to work hard at that as well.
What when you get to a point where you can't go on? I mean, you obviously have great ambition. What gets you through that moment where you're like, "I'm done"? Because you seem very obviously. I know you say this is part of your live character, but you seem self motivated in spades and spades and spades.
Mm, I think the
Except
secret,
for
I
when
think,
you're
is
live at the McDonald's stand.
yeah. I have a bed, a gigantic bed that it's actually new. Got it about 2 months ago. I got it for free. um, I sleep a lot. I sleep a lot. I relax. I take my vitamins. I take my
Mm.
immune boosters. I feed my body what it needs. I think I listen to musicals. I sing and shout in the middle of my bath. I know what I need. And I think a lot of us don't know what motivates us. That switch. I got a terrible analogy, but uh, sometimes you get women who say you can't give them an orgasm, and you're like, I'm doing everything, and she's like, no, I've never, and then and then afterwards she's like, I've never had an orgasm in my life, and you're like, oh, so it's not me, you know? So,
It's you.
so, so sometimes, and I always say to her, my female friend says to me, an orgasm sometimes it's like there's a switch. So sometimes you as a lady have to go, oh, there's a switch. So sometimes as a human being, sometimes if you're feeling shit, there's a switch, and you need to know what switch it is. I know my switches are: if I'm feeling shit, I need to go box. Bloop. If I'm feeling shit, I need to go pole dance. Bloop. If I'm feeling shit, I need to go listen to musicals. Bloop. If I'm feeling shit, let me go sing. Bloop. So I know my switches, right? And the older I get, the switches change around. But at the end of the day, you need to know what you love, man. Wake up every morning, listen to musical theater or motivational talks. I know, and I surround myself with incredible fucking humans. I am blessed. My drug, my steroid, my growth hormone is my friends. I have Sia Kolisi, I have Skaran Domeni, I have Musi Maimani, I have Chesney Colbert, I have Wade I got all these incredible humans who I'm name dropping. Yeah, because I name drop my flipping friends because they're incredible. Humans who are built like. Have you ever had a friend that's a sportsman? Have you ever had a friend that's a sportsman? Those motherfuckers are built differently, man. Their minds are so different to us. For example, most Sundays uh, I try to have a braai with Musi Mamani, a guy called Gary, a friend of ours. I try to have Skara, or Sia Kulisi. We all try to have a braai, right? If
This sounds
Sia,
like a great joke already.
yeah, if Sia lost the game on Saturday, I won't see Sia or Skara on Sunday. I won't see them because they're just built differently. You know what I mean? They're built to win. They're like fucking racehorses. You know, I emceed Wade Finikak's wedding. Wade is a horse. He's a horse. He's built to run and beat. When he got injured, what couldn't he do? He couldn't run. What does that mean? He can't do what he's built for. I hardly spoke to Wade when he was recovering because he can't win when he's injured. You know, and that's how I've treated art. I've tried to treat art in similar ways. It's the same as Musi. Musi, no votes, no win. You need votes to win. So you need to do something. So for me, I've treated art the way they treat sport and the way my other friends treat politics. End of the day, you need to put in the work, do the research, you get the results. Sometimes the results don't go your way, But then you have to look at the footage and see, what did I do wrong? Musi does the work, loses votes. What does he do?
Still loses.
This is not
Yeah.
my game. Still loses. And he goes back to the drawing board. And for me, surround yourselves with the right people. But let me tell you one thing. Your father and your mother taught you that. Our parents taught us that. Remember when your mother used to go, or your father used to be like, I don't like that friend of yours. And you're
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what do you mean? Oh my God, bro. What do you mean? He's my friend. But parents saw shit, man. At the end of the day, you surround yourselves with the right people. And I'm not saying just, I have friends who are not famous. I didn't mention people that you guys know, but I have people close to me who are not famous.
Like Gary, for example.
Like Gary. Gary's in our WhatsApp group. He's the only Mlungu in the WhatsApp group. What I'm saying is that I have an unfair advantage, and that's the people I surround myself with. I
Yeah.
have incredible humans, and I don't care. I'll name drop the fuck out of my friends.
I'm going to ask you a side question. Then I'm going to come back. I'm chatting to Sia Khaleesi shortly on this show. What really cool question could I ask him that he won't see coming that I will afterwards attribute to you, but before I will surprise him?
I think a story about Sia that many people don't know. So Sia, every day before the World Cup, I used to call him, and
You used
every
to call him.
day, yeah, and every day he used to be cocky as hell. Not cocky, confident. Yeah, we're gonna win tomorrow. It's in God's hands. We're gonna do this. It's already in the bag. I called him before the English game, after New Zealand killed England, and he still was like, "We've got this. It's in God's hands." Listening to Hillsong music. Ask him what his secret weapon was in the World Cup. He said
Okay.
God, and I don't even believe in God. So it's quite interesting how all of my close friends believe in God, and I'm like, nah, bruh, not my vibe. But
So what is
he'll
the question? What is the secret weapon in World Cup? And he'll say God. How do I come back from that?
no, but ask him what was his driving force throughout the World Cup. He'll tell you his family, he'll tell you his religion, and you can move into that. Or go back to his childhood about ask him how he communicated with his team on the rugby field, because he couldn't speak English, and then
Right.
you elaborate about how that happened.
Cool. Thank you. I love what you said about your approach to art, because that's the one thing I really see about you, that you aren't a comedian, you aren't a pole dancer, you are an artist. I see that very clearly in the work that you do, or your approach to life makes that clear to me as well. I mean, Savannah is an artwork, right? To me, that what you're doing there is so many deep, I mean, deep levels that are in that, from design to architecture to physical to mental to what you're doing there. It feels like it's something that you've done that's been massively misunderstood, well, partially misunderstood. What what got you to do that?
I want to start by saying Savannah's gotten about 95% love and 5% hate. The
But those
5% of it,
5%, they're fucking loud, bro. They're so
yeah,
loud. The
the the
bloody
the, the,
5%.
the 5%, the 5% say that I'm doing the right thing and I'm on the right track. I believe that if everyone loves you, you're doing fuck all with your life. We're not all chocolate, or hot chocolate. I think
But
Savannah
it's
is
not a
an
publicity stunt to me. Well, I don't see it as a publicity
no,
stunt. I see it as a piece of art that what you're doing there is
yeah.
creating.
I think I I think Savannah is one of the greatest things I've ever done. One of my greatest creations. And I've worked with Manila, who's an unbelievable drag artist. I've been planning on doing drag for the last 7 years. Um, not me. I'm not the drag. But the lady who created me, Manila Vontier, she's a drag artist who's helped me with everything. She's my drag mother. Um, and I've been wanting to do drag for about 7 years. I think it's an unbelievable art form. It's very, very important, and I think, ironically, I think a lot of people who have been attacking me about drag don't really understand drag and where drag came from. But the difference between me doing drag and me being just doing acting is that a lot of people have attacked me from a point of hurt. So the LGBTI plus community is really being hurt. Many people have been killed for being gay or lesbian or trans, right? So for me, I need to be very humble in this space, and I understand that because a lot of people who've hurt can only they try hurt other people. So when I was getting attacked, I could have schooled many of them, but I didn't because I understood that it comes from a place of hurt, and the only way, the irony of it, actually, a gay man said to me, I was having dinner with a gay man on Sunday, and he said, "I know you as a person, sir. You're the least homophobic man I know, but you are in a shell of the quintessential homophobic motherfucker possible. You've been on Men's Health cover," he says. He says, "You box." He says, "You're loud, you're opinionated, you're hyper
You're a
masculine,
man's
you're a
man.
jock, you're a man's man. You were the quintessential kind of guy who's hurt us, right? So please excuse us when we don't trust you." But what I've realized about that
Wow.
community, what I've realized about that community is that all I can do, because intentions aren't enough, it's not enough. It's the same as, I'm going to say this is going to be quite a touch, this is going to be quite a sensitive subject. My cousin, 49 years old, drove home to go and help his mother and his father who had COVID. Everyone told him, don't go, don't go, don't go. It's dangerous in the Eastern Cape. And he said, fuck you guys, my mother and my father have COVID. He caught COVID. His mother and his father recovered. My cousin died. His intent was incredible. But just because your intent is amazing, it doesn't mean the outcome will be positive. My intent for drag is positive. My intent for drag will change the landscape of drag in this country. I'm unapologetic about that. And in the same hand, I will be the most well-known South African drag artist of all times. And I'm unapologetic about that. And I'll continue to do drag. But I, 35-year-old Serv, have learned that just because your intent is pure, it doesn't mean other people will see your intent as pure. Just because my cousin drove to the Eastern Cape to do something very humble and very amazing for his mother and his father, it doesn't mean COVID won't kill him. And that's how I have to go about this thing.
Firstly, I'm sorry for your loss. That's terrible. Second of all, is this the same cousin whose funeral you were telling me about earlier?
Yeah, on Sunday. On Saturday.
Is this week Saturday? Did you just come from it now?
Last again.
Jeez. Well, that's a very admirable sort of Muhammad Ali-esque of you, how you approach that. I mean, it's power. You are. I mean, I'm sure you know this, but other people would completely wilt under the social media pressure is real for some people, not for you, it seems. But I mean, the one thing that is confusing for me is why there is I mean, again, I need to be educated if this is going to sound insensitive, but why is there a problem with whether you're gay or you're not gay and being trans? I mean, isn't Eddie Izzard one of the most famous transvestites in the world? Or is that something different? I mean, and he's
I must be honest.
not
So,
gay. Yeah.
transvestites. So trans. See, even the word transvestites is actually a word that's not being used anymore. They use the word transgender.
Is transgender, and I'm sorry to ask this, transgender and transvestite are different things because doesn't
I am man enough to tell you I don't know, but I know that transvestite is the word people don't like anymore.
but
And
isn't that Eddie Izzard calls himself a transvestite? Well, he has for 25 years.
Yeah, but people now are changing terminology, so I don't want to be quoted on this.
Okay,
All
me
I'm
neither.
saying is that transgender
Yeah.
and drag aren't the same thing. And I'm going to say another thing that people drag has nothing to do with my sexuality. It's in my expression and my art form. But the queer community have taken drag and made this something incredible and amazing, and I have all the respect as possible. Every time I put on female clothing and I become drag, I stand on the shoulders of incredible queens that have been drag artists. My privilege as a heterosexual man is that
Mm,
I can put on the makeup and take it off and then be heterosexual. But other homosexual men or lesbian women put on this, take it off, and they still been shunned, both in makeup and out of makeup. So I have a privilege, right? Just like white people
yeah.
have privileges, just like men have privileges, and I understand that. And that's why I'm glad I did drag at this position and this age and this point, is that I know that I can. Young Sid would have never understood this. I would have gone in fighting.
When you say that 7 years ago you started getting interested in doing drag, what is your interest there? I mean, that's why I was just saying, one of the things that is interesting, a recurring theme is the physical nature of a project, or that you take your body is something you're doing stuff with, you know.
Mm. Uh, you know, I grew up in a. My mother was very conservative. My father, they're very conservative. My mother actually was just like, accept people for what they are. I've always been amazed by living in a body that you don't feel like you belong in. And many of my gay friends said on Sunday that if I could pick to come back again in the world, I'll come back as a straight man because being gay is difficult. And that hurt me. That
Mm.
absolutely hurt me that people can not want to come back as themselves. And that's a gross injustice. And I want to be part of the change of that. Um, but I've always wanted to do something else and be something else and be able to become something else and just be able to create something else and someone else. And I've always been fascinated by that. I've watched a lot of people who created different characters and stuff. The LGBTI plus community for me is incredible community that I've really held dear, who've been very supportive of me and really understanding of me and really have given me a chance. And those who can't give me a chance, who haven't given me a chance, I've always had people on my back, on my side. So I've always looked at drag, and it's an incredible art form that has done wonders. And I've just been looking and watching RuPaul Drag Race, just doing things, man. And 3.5 years ago, I played rugby for an all-gay rugby team in America. I was the only straight one, and I learned a lot there. I learned a lot because I arrived there thinking that I would be the best player because I was straight. I was one of the best players because I come from a rugby background, not because I was straight. If I walk into a room of women, I'm not the best in the room because I have a cock. Sometimes I'm the best in the room because I worked hard, and vice versa. Some woman might be better than me, you know. So that playing with that rugby team really changed my life, and it changed the way I looked at things. And I think without that experience, I don't think I would be where I am today, and I wouldn't be able to handle the kind of abuse that I receive sometimes.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about your comedy career? Like, it hasn't featured yet, but your aspirations for comedy, or
Uh, you know, comedy is not really important to me. Um, it's just my side thing, man. It's my side hustle. I get paid a lot of money for it. I get off the stage, I feel like a rock star.
why are you
But
good
it's
at
just,
it?
there are many people who are better than me. They are. Um, but I think I'm one of the country's best comedic performers, uh, physicality wise. Because a lot of comedians end up tending to steer towards the deadpan and they're just letting the joke do the work, and I like to my body do the work. Maybe because I'm not as good as a comedian as the rest of them, you know. There's newcomers who are better than me, but I'll get booked because you know I work my body and I'll get off the stage sweating. So once again, a lot of them work hard and I just work smart. But I am creating a show at the moment that has potential to change some lives and to because I think I've always just tried to make people laugh, right, and let people laugh. I don't mind them laughing at me, but now I'm at 35, 36. I want to make people think and laugh. And I think this is the show that I'm busy writing now. That's gonna do things.
That's really cool. So then you start off by saying that comedy is not important to you. Your your career, I mean, your career is quite diverse. And I know that obviously there's one thing about taking opportunities from where they come. Where do you want to end up?
Um, I unapologetically believe I'm one of the greatest entertainers this country has seen and will ever see. And I'm
You have mentioned
unapologetic
that
about
already.
that. And I'll mention it again.
Just
Um,
one more, so because I don't think I get it the first four times.
I am unapologetically one of the country's best performers and entertainers. I'm versatile and I'm unapologetically so. And if you give me a moment, I'll take your job and I'll learn how to do it. So you know what I mean? Like so for me, I know that's quite jarring to hear. I wasn't saying that to you. I meant in general. I know that's quite jarring to hear because we're always taught not to say such a thing. Um, no, I refuse, man. I refuse. If I say nothing, they're still gonna attack me. If I say something, they're gonna attack me anyway. So fuck it.
No, that's
Let
the
me
truth.
say
That is the
something.
truth. Yeah.
That so here's my goal. My goal is I'll be creating content for myself for many years to come. I'll be producing my own films. I'll be directing films. Currently, I can't direct films because I'm just too into myself. Because I always look at people perform and I think I would do it like this. So I'm a bit too self involved to do that at the moment. I just want to create content. I want to create South African stories and beautiful South African stories. I don't talk about apartheid. And
That is a
if
fucking problem with our movies. That
yeah,
the ham-fisted attempt to address apartheid through films makes our films really boring.
yeah. So I want to create content. I want to create really, really versatile content. And I'm gonna tell you the most outlandish, weirdest thing ever. Like it's like today someone said to me, "Oh my goodness, you got this because you're a celebrity." And I thought to myself, "Shit, I just want to be known for being talented, um, and I just want to be known for challenging things. I want to be known for changing lives. I want to be known for being unapologetically myself. And the one thing I do know, like Muhammad Ali, when he was doing everything he was doing, no one understood it. He was called arrogant. He was called cocky. He was jailed. They called him a low life. He wasn't able to make money. And yeah, man. And that's my hero. And I know that everything I'm doing now will pay off. And jokes aside, I believe someone asked me the other day, who's one of my heroes? And I said, one of my heroes is the man that I have the potential to become. And I believe that. As much as I joke around about being one of the best performers in this country, which I believe that I am, but I think my legacy will go down as a man who helped other people and try to change people's lives.
Well, that's the thing I wanted to get at for the this last part here, and that is, Muhammad Ali is both of our heroes.
Hmm.
And if you're friends with Sir Khaleesi, then I know you have a deeper purpose to, affect change in this country or in this world, whatever it is. And
Hmm.
so, other than being the prettiest and the greatest and the most powerful and the most amazing, um, where are you, or what are you trying to achieve for other South Africans?
Um, if I die tomorrow and it doesn't say Sid was talented on his tombstone, I'm cool with that. I think if it says that he tried to change lives and he fought injustice continuously, I think that's what I really want to be known for.
I do think,
I
and not blowing smoke up your ass, that is something that is speaks very, very loudly already. You do
Yeah,
are someone who's followed through on that.
so I try. My fights are not for animals. Sorry. Um, I'm against injustice of minorities and not minorities. It was not minority because women aren't a minority. I'm
People, how
against
about just
injustice. Yeah, I fight for people, just injustices. I'm against gender-based violence. I'm against rape. raping of children. I'm against period poverty. I want to make sure every female across the world has sanitary products, pads, and tampons. I'm against homophobia. I'm just against hate in general. And yeah, man, it has a price. There's a price. There's a price to all of it, and I'm willing to pay the price.
If you had a billion, if you starred in War of the Worlds 2, replacing Tom Cruise, and you got a 1 billion rand in your pocket, what would you do with it?
I think we gotta. I think we gotta go. We gotta help the girl child, man. I think we gotta help the girl child, and I think we gotta plow back into our young boys.
Mm.
I think we gotta make sanitary
Careful
products
with
free.
your language.
What do you mean?
So never mind.
Which point? I'm
Move
joking.
on.
Um, I think we gotta help the girl child. I think we're gonna give free sanitary products to every female across the country and across the world. I'll start with my country. I think we're gonna need programs for young boys so that they know 60% of the people who are born in this country are born without a parent, a father figure. And I think we're going to be able to give these programs that actually get boys to be able to know their worth and to be able to know
It's
what
a real
no
fuck
is.
up, that. Uh,
Yeah, big
it's a
problem, big
real,
problem.
real. I mean,
Yeah.
it just
So that's what I'm at. That's what I would do is take care of the girl child, but don't forget the boy child because he's the one who's potentially going to hurt the girl child. And then just do those systems. I don't think a billion rand is actually that much, but the education system needs to get fixed, and we got to create
I,
jobs.
I like the ambition of that. Okay, I will gently close on this and say, apart from the death of your father, can you remember, or is there a moment in your career that you faced what you thought was a completely unsurmountable obstacle and that you needed to overcome to turn you into the person that you are?
I had the worst acne when I was 18, 19, 20 or so.
That's late to be
Um,
having acne.
yeah, but it's about. I know I had acne. I had acne in high school, and then it calmed down. Lost my dad, and then it came out quite badly. I think at about 18, 19, and
Wow.
and then I think even the belief of Ali helped me through that. I think I saw myself internally as someone different. I saw myself as someone else. But I think that could definitely have changed the trajectory of my life. I think it could have eaten me from the inside with my confidence and everything. But I remember having the worst acne and walking into rooms and thinking, are they looking at me? And if they are, I'm in disgust that I look disgusting. But it never affected me long term, you know. And I think that could have been the quintessential turning point in my life. And then when that cleared up, I went in head first.
So what is the thing that got you through that? What did you have to change about yourself? I mean, every time that Bruce is pushing you to your limit and you reach your limit and you push through that, there is some pain that that you have learned to overcome through an obstacle from earlier. I'm guessing.
So when I had acne, I lived in the States, right? I used to have on my Nokia 3210, I think, I used to have a reminder that said, "You're amazing, you're incredible, you will change the world one day." And it used to come on twice a day. I saw that every day. I think that subconscious self-belief was still there, and no little white marks on my face would have changed it.
Cool. Siv, it's been lovely chatting to you, man, and I
The
appreciate your
pleasure,
time.
the pleasure is all yours.
It was quite pleasurable. Thank you.
I'm joking. But I
No,
just want to end off. I want to end off. I just want to say because it's it's easy not to like me, and I understand it. I think if I met myself, I wouldn't like myself sometimes. Um, but I think the the true fundamentals of who I am are never ever changing, and I continuously want to be able to do what I can to change people's lives and if I'm on 50 billion TV shows, it's pretty irrelevant when I die because it'll get left behind. But if I've changed lives, I think it will definitely mean more. But yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Siv. It's been great chatting to you, man.
Sure, man.
How, how's your orange juice looking? Because my bottle of whiskey is pretty much done.
I'm finished.